Welcome to Storyteller Pro, where we unravel the mysteries that time has buried and breathe life into history's most thrilling tales. Today, we dive into the legend of the Treasure of Lima, an elusive fortune worth billions in today's currency. This is a story of unimaginable riches, betrayal, and a disappearance that has puzzled treasure hunters for generations. The Treasure of Lima, a tale of mystery, greed, and disappearance. In the realm of lost treasures, the Treasure of Lima stands apart. A trove of riches amassed through centuries of Spanish conquest, it has captivated dreamers and adventurers alike. This tale begins in the early 1800s in Lima, Peru, one of the wealthiest cities of the Spanish Empire. Lima's wealth was unmatched. Gold and silver flowed from the Andes, filling the city with priceless artifacts, jeweled crowns, and religious relics encrusted with emeralds. But by 1820, revolution was sweeping through South America. Rebels, led by visionaries like José de San Martín, threatened to topple Spanish rule, and Lima's treasure became vulnerable. With the rebellion closing in, Spanish officials and the Catholic Church made a fateful decision. The treasure must be moved. They entrusted it to a British captain, William Thompson, and his ship, the Mary Dear. The mission was simple: transport the treasure to Mexico, far from the rebellion's reach. But what followed was a betrayal of epic proportions. William Thompson and his crew saw an opportunity too tempting to resist. Instead of delivering the treasure, they turned on the Spanish guards aboard the ship, killed them, and vanished into the vast Pacific Ocean. Their destination? A remote paradise known as the Cocos Islands, where they believed they could safely hide the fortune. But the plan unraveled. Spanish authorities eventually captured Thompson and his crew, but the treasure had already disappeared. Thompson refused to reveal its location, taking its secrets to his grave. Or so the story goes. Generations of adventurers have sought the Treasure of Lima, drawn by its staggering wealth and the mystery surrounding its fate. From seasoned treasure hunters to amateur dreamers, the Cocos Islands became the focus of countless expeditions. Yet, the treasure remains hidden, eluding all who seek it. Could the treasure still lie beneath the sands of the Cocos Islands? Or did William Thompson return in secret to claim it? Perhaps it was never there at all, and its true location remains one of history's most closely guarded secrets. Stay with us as we explore the incredible theories, failed expeditions, and the enduring legacy of the Treasure of Lima. This is just the beginning of a tale filled with intrigue, danger, and the eternal allure of the unknown. The origins of the treasure. In the early 19th century, the city of Lima stood as a shining beacon of Spanish colonial power in South America. Its streets teemed with grandeur, its churches overflowed with priceless treasures, and its vaults brimmed with unimaginable wealth. But beneath this glittering facade lay a city on the brink of chaos. Lima's riches were legendary. For centuries, Spanish conquistadors had funneled gold and silver from the Andes into this opulent city. Statues carved from pure gold stood in its churches, their surfaces encrusted with emeralds, so vivid they seemed to glow in the dark. Altars gleamed with chalices and crucifixes crafted from precious metals, while jewels of every hue adorned the robes of clergy during grand processions. But this treasure came at a terrible cost. Deep within the mines of Peru, indigenous workers toiled under brutal conditions, extracting the riches that adorned Lima. These mines were cursed by many who labored in them, cursed with whispers of revenge for the suffering endured, curses that, some say, still lingered over the treasure itself. By 1820, the tides of history had turned. Across South America, revolutionary movements rose like thunder, shaking the foundations of Spanish rule. Rebel forces, led by fearless leaders like José de San Martín, marched toward Lima with one goal: to bring down the Spanish stronghold and claim its wealth. As the rebel army advanced, panic gripped the city. The Spanish officials and the Catholic clergy knew that their days of dominance were numbered, but more than their power, they feared for the treasure, a collection so vast and so priceless that it could finance an entire empire, or plunge nations into war if it fell into the wrong hands. In their desperation, the officials devised a bold and dangerous plan. They would gather the treasure, the entire hoard, and transfer it to Mexico, a stronghold still loyal to the Spanish crown. But as they prepared for the journey, whispers of misfortune began to spread. The treasure was said to be cursed, a sinister force that would bring ruin to anyone who dared to claim it for themselves. Superstitions grew as the treasure was packed. Priests reportedly refused to bless the voyage, fearing divine retribution. Sailors muttered of bad omens, birds circling the harbor at dusk, and strange shapes seen moving in the water. Some even claimed that one of the golden statues shed tears of blood as it was carried onto the ship. Despite the ominous signs, the Spanish officials pressed forward. The treasure was loaded onto the Mary Dear, a sturdy brig captained by William Thompson, an Englishman known for his cunning and skill. What they didn't know was that this decision would set the stage for one of the most infamous betrayals in history. As the ship prepared to set sail, stories of sabotage and theft filled the air. Did someone try to steal a piece of the treasure before it left the harbor? Were some of the priests in on the conspiracy? Witnesses claimed to have seen mysterious figures lurking near the docks, cloaked in shadow, as if waiting for their moment to strike. The Mary Dear departed under the cover of darkness, its cargo said to be worth more than entire kingdoms. The Spanish officials breathed a sigh of relief, believing their treasure was safe. Little did they know, they had entrusted their fortune to a man whose loyalty lay not with Spain, but with his own greed. And so the Treasure of Lima began its journey, a journey shrouded in curses, betrayal, and secrecy. What happened next would transform it into one of the greatest mysteries of all time. The Journey of the Treasure. It was the year 1820. The rebel forces, led by the fearless José de San Martín, were marching closer to Lima, and panic gripped the city like a vice. The treasure, that monumental collection of wealth and faith, was hastily packed, locked away in chests that creaked under their own weight. But what was meant to be an escape would soon turn into an unspeakable betrayal. Enter Captain William Thompson, a British sailor with a reputation for skill and cunning. He commanded the Mary Dear, a sturdy bridge chosen to carry what might have been the most valuable cargo ever entrusted to a single ship. But Thompson's eyes gleamed with something far more dangerous than determination: greed. The treasure was extraordinary. Historical accounts describe crates overflowing with gold and silver coins, religious relics inlaid with jewels, and ornate crowns that sparkled like the sun. Among the trove was the crown jewel of the collection, a life-sized statue of the Virgin Mary, sculpted entirely of gold and adorned with emeralds, rubies, and sapphires. It was said that this statue alone could buy an empire. The ship set sail under the cover of night, its sails billowing in the moonlight. Spanish guards, tasked with protecting the treasure, stood watch, their eyes scanning the vast, endless ocean. But unbeknownst to them, the mutiny was brewing, one that would forever change the fate of the treasure. Days into the voyage, the tension aboard the Mary Dear was palpable. The Spanish guards, exhausted and weary, began to notice something strange. The crew whispered among themselves in hushed tones, their gazes lingering on the locked chests just a little too long. It was as if the treasure itself was casting a spell, bending their will toward its golden glow. Then, in the dead of night, it happened. The mutiny. Thompson and his crew, armed with knives and pistols, turned on the Spanish guards. The struggle was brief and brutal, the sound of gunfire echoing across the waves. By dawn, the deck of the Mary Dear was stained red, and Thompson stood victorious over the fallen guards. Now, in full control of the ship and its priceless cargo, Thompson made a fateful decision. He would not deliver the treasure to Mexico as instructed. Instead, he plotted a course toward a remote and uninhabited archipelago, the Cocos Islands. The Cocos Islands, located off the coast of present-day Costa Rica, were an isolated paradise, untouched by man. With dense jungles, hidden coves, and rocky cliffs, it was the perfect place to hide a treasure of such immense value. But the journey to the islands was not without peril. According to legend, the journey to the islands was marked by strange and chilling events. Crew members reported seeing shadowy figures in the water, swimming alongside the ship. Others claimed to hear faint whispers at night, as if the treasure itself was calling out to them. One sailor even swore he saw the Virgin Mary statue's eyes glow in the moonlight. When the Mary Dear finally reached the Cocos Islands, Thompson and his crew wasted no time. Under the cover of dense jungle and rugged cliffs, they buried the treasure in a secret location, one they believed no one would ever find. Exhausted but triumphant, they vowed to return one day to claim their fortune. But fate had other plans. Before Thompson and his men could make their triumphant return, the Spanish authorities caught up with them. The crew was captured, their ship confiscated. One by one, they were interrogated about the treasure's whereabouts, and yet not a single man revealed the secret. Some say they preferred death to betraying their prize. Thompson himself is said to have escaped under mysterious circumstances, vanishing into the annals of history. Did he return to the Cocos Islands to reclaim the treasure, or did he take its secret to his grave? The answer remains unknown, and the Treasure of Lima remains lost to this day. The disappearance of the treasure. When Spanish authorities finally caught up with William Thompson and his crew, the Mary Dear was seized, its sails torn and weathered, but the treasure was nowhere to be found. The vast wealth of Lima had disappeared, as if swallowed by the ocean itself. Interrogations were swift and merciless. Crew members were dragged one by one into dimly lit chambers, their faces pale and their bodies trembling. Some begged for mercy, others spat defiantly at their captors. But no one revealed the secret of the treasure's location, not even as they faced the ultimate punishment. One by one, the crew met their fate. Executions were carried out in the public square, each man taking the secret of the treasure to his grave. The crowd watched in hushed awe, whispers of the treasure swirling like smoke in the air. But William Thompson, the man at the heart of the betrayal, would not share their fate. Thompson's story took an unexpected turn. Some say he escaped under cover of night, bribing his way to freedom. Others claim he was granted a pardon in exchange for a promise to lead the authorities to the treasure. But if that promise was made, it was never fulfilled. Thompson vanished, like the treasure itself, leaving behind only unanswered questions or growing suspicion. The legend of the Treasure of Lima only grew from there. Tales of its disappearance spread like wildfire, crossing oceans and continents. The Cocos Islands, with their rugged cliffs and impenetrable jungles, became the focal point of the mystery. Stories whispered of cursed sands, deadly traps, and phantom lights that led treasure hunters astray. Expedition after expedition set out in search of the treasure, each more determined than the last. Some hunters claimed to have found fragments of the hoard, gold coins glinting in the sunlight, or rusted chests buried deep in the earth. But the full treasure, that immense fortune of jewels, gold, and sacred relics, remained tantalizingly out of reach. For those who searched, the treasure was more than just riches. It was an obsession. Maps were drawn and redrawn, fortunes spent and lives lost. Some returned from the islands empty-handed, their spirits broken. Others vanished altogether, their names added to the growing legend of the treasure's deadly allure. Perhaps the most haunting part of this tale is the lingering sense of loss, not just of the treasure, but of the dreams it carried. For every coin unearthed, there is a story of someone who sacrificed everything, chasing the shadow of something they could never hold. The Cocos Islands became more than a destination. They became a symbol of unattainable desire. To this day, the Treasure of Lima remains a ghostly presence in the minds of treasure hunters and historians. Is it buried deep within the jungles of the Cocos Islands, hidden beneath the ocean's depths? Or did William Thompson retrieve it long ago, slipping away into history with his unimaginable fortune? The answers lie buried somewhere. Treasure hunters and expeditions. The disappearance of the Treasure of Lima was just the beginning. What followed was a saga of obsession, sacrifice, and danger, as countless treasure hunters set out to claim its unimaginable riches. But the treasure seemed to guard itself, eluding all who sought it, sometimes at a terrible cost. Among the first and most determined was August Gisler, a German adventurer who arrived at the Cocos Islands in the late 19th century. Armed with crude maps, rudimentary tools, and an unshakable belief that the treasure lay beneath the jungle floor, Gisler dedicated nearly 2 decades of his life to the search. Day after day, Gisler and his team dug through the unforgiving terrain. The sweltering heat, the relentless rain, and the suffocating isolation wore them down. Their hands blistered from digging, their minds haunted by the fear that they were searching in the wrong place. Yet Gisler pressed on, convinced that the earth beneath his feet concealed untold riches. But the island had its own defenses. The jungle teemed with venomous snakes, swarms of biting insects, and quicksand pits that swallowed tools, and sometimes men whole. Supplies dwindled, morale faltered, and whispers of a curse began to take hold. Some claim they heard voices in the night, faint and mournful, warning them to leave. Despite his unrelenting efforts, Gisler unearthed little more than a few gold coins, tarnished and weathered by time. Were they part of the Treasure of Lima? or merely remnants of an older, forgotten cache? The question tormented him. When he finally left the island, broken and empty-handed, he vowed never to speak of the treasure again. In the 20th century, technology brought new hope to treasure hunters. Metal detectors, sonar, and ground-penetrating radar promised to unlock the secrets of the Cocos Islands. Expeditions grew more sophisticated and more daring, but the treasure remained elusive, as if it was mocking their efforts. Theories about the treasure's location multiplied. Some argued it had been moved to mainland Costa Rica. Others insisted it was buried deeper than any tool could reach. Wild speculation filled the air, from hidden vaults to secret caves guarded by spirits of the Spanish guards who had died protecting it. Even famous names were drawn into the mystery. Michael Crichton, the author of Jurassic Park, became captivated by the legend. Though his writings about the treasure never saw the light of day, his unpublished notes reveal a man as enthralled by the mystery as any adventurer. And then there was Sir Malcolm Campbell, the British racing legend and thrill-seeker. In the 1930s, Campbell led an expedition to the Cocos Islands, determined to find the treasure that had eluded so many. His team faced violent storms, equipment failures, and unexplained phenomena that left even the most hardened skeptics uneasy. Campbell's team reported eerie occurrences, compasses spinning wildly, tools disappearing overnight, and strange lights flickering in the jungle. Some crew members swore they saw ghostly figures near their camp, while others fell ill with no explanation. Was it the curse of the treasure, or the island itself rejecting them? Despite their efforts, Campbell's expedition came up empty-handed. Defeated, he left the island with more questions than answers. Like so many before him, he had underestimated the island and the legend it guarded. The Treasure of Lima has outlasted countless hunters, each lured by its promise of unimaginable wealth, but the more they searched, the more the treasure seemed to retreat into myth, leaving behind only whispers of its existence and the haunting feeling that it might never be found. Theories and speculation. The Treasure of Lima, a prize so vast it could rival the wealth of nations, has evaded discovery for over 2 centuries. Its disappearance has given rise to countless theories, each more tantalizing and chilling than the last. But the deeper we dig into these possibilities, the more we uncovered tales of tragedy, deception, and perhaps something far darker. One of the most enduring theories is that the treasure was never buried at all. According to some accounts, the Mary Dear, laden with gold and jewels, encountered a violent storm shortly after leaving Lima. The ship's masts were torn asunder, its hull cracked by towering waves. Some say it sank beneath the ocean, its fortunes scattered across the seafloor. But even this theory is shrouded in mystery. Divers who have searched for the wreckage of the Mary Dear report unsettling encounters. Strange currents that pull them off course, equipment malfunctions at critical depths, and an eerie sense of being watched. Could the treasure be guarded not just by the sea, but by something that lies beneath it? Then there are those who suspect a grand deception. They argue that Thompson never intended to leave the treasure on the Cocos Islands at all. Could the legendary captain have buried it on another island, leaving the Cocos Islands as a deliberate red herring? If so, where could he have hidden a fortune so vast? The Cocos Islands, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, remain the most popular suspected location. But even here, the treasure seems to resist discovery. Expeditions face more than just legal restrictions. Strange and unexplained events plague those who search too deeply. Some speak of tools vanishing overnight, or holes filling in as if the earth itself conspires to protect its secrets. One theory suggests that the treasure is cursed, bound by the spirits of those who died for it. Over the years, stories have emerged of explorers falling ill without explanation, hearing whispers in the dead of night, or being lured deeper into the jungle by phantom lights. Few who experience these events dare to return. But perhaps the most chilling theory of all is that the treasure is alive in some way, a force that guards itself, shaping the fates of those who seek it. Some claim that even the most promising leads dissolve into confusion, maps become illegible, and compasses spin wildly as though the treasure does not wish to be found. To this day, no definitive proof of the Treasure of Lima's location has been found, but the theories and the legends persist, fueled by the haunting possibility that it may never be uncovered, or that those who come too close are destined to fail. Whether it lies beneath the waves, deep in the jungle, or hidden on an entirely different island, the Treasure of Lima remains a mystery that defies reason, tempting some and destroying others. The question remains, would you dare to seek it? The treasure's legacy. The Treasure of Lima is more than just a lost hoard of gold and jewels. It is a story that transcends time, a tale of ambition, betrayal, and the eternal pull of the unknown. For centuries, its legacy has captured the imaginations of storytellers and treasure hunters alike, leaving an indelible mark on history and culture. This treasure, said to be worth billions, represents a world long past, a time when empires stretched across oceans and explorers ventured into the unknown. Its riches were amassed through conquest and exploitation, extracted from the mines of Peru at great human cost. The gold and silver that now lie buried once passed through the hands of indigenous workers whose toil and suffering enriched the Spanish Empire. Over the years, the Treasure of Lima has become more than a collection of artifacts. It is a symbol. It speaks of human ambition and greed, the lengths to which people will go for wealth, and the devastating consequences of such desires. The treasure embodies the duality of human nature, the hunger for greatness and the destruction left in its wake. At Storyteller Pro, we bring the most compelling tales of history and mystery straight to you. If you're enjoying this journey into the legend of the Treasure of Lima, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us keep these stories alive, and who knows, together we might uncover the truth behind the next great mystery. The Treasure of Lima has inspired countless books, films, and even video games. From swashbuckling adventures to modern thrillers, its legend has become a cornerstone of storytelling. But behind the glitz and glamour lies a darker truth, a history steeped in betrayal and blood. Consider the chilling tales that surround the treasure. Stories of cursed explorers who dared to search for it only to meet untimely ends. One expedition leader in the 1930s reportedly vanished without a trace, his campsite found abandoned, the ground littered with gold coins. Another group spoke of hearing ghostly whispers that led them to a ravine where they were trapped for days by sudden flood. Even today, the Treasure of Lima exerts a powerful pull. Modern adventurers, armed with advanced technology, still comb the Cocos Islands, convinced that they can succeed where others have failed. Yet, the treasure resists, as if it were alive. A force that protects itself from discovery. But perhaps the greatest legacy of the Treasure of Lima is its reflection of human history. It serves as a stark reminder of the cost of greed. The same gold and silver that built empires left behind a trail of suffering, displacement and loss. The treasure, some say, is cursed not by spirits, but by the weight of its own dark origins. For all its allure, the Treasure of Lima is as much a warning as it is a mystery. It represents not just wealth, but the eternal question, how far would you go to achieve your desires, and at what cost? Whether it remains hidden beneath the sands of the Cocos Islands, or lies scattered across the ocean floor, the Treasure of Lima continues to captivate, taunt, and inspire. Its legacy is a testament to the human spirit's unyielding desire for discovery and the mysteries that will forever lie just out of reach. The modern search for the treasure. Even in the 21st century, the Treasure of Lima remains a siren's call, a legend that refuses to fade into history. Armed with the most advanced tools of modern technology, today's treasure hunters have continued the search, but the mystery stands unbroken. The treasure remains as elusive as ever, a reminder that some secrets resist even the sharpest minds and the strongest wills. In 2012, hope reignited when a group of Canadian treasure hunters announced that they had located what they believed to be a large hoard of gold off the coast of Costa Rica. News of their discovery sent shockwaves through the treasure hunting community and beyond. Could this finally be the break the world had been waiting for? But as with so many claims before it, this one fell into the shadow of uncertainty. The supposed hoard has never been publicly revealed, and skeptics question whether it had any connection to the Treasure of Lima at all. Was it truly part of the legendary trove, or just another fragment of gold lost to history? The answers remain frustratingly out of reach. Meanwhile, the Costa Rican government has stepped in, recognizing the historical and ecological significance of the Cocos Islands. Strict regulations now protect the area, preserving its natural beauty, but making large-scale treasure hunting expeditions nearly impossible. For many, this has added yet another layer to the mystery. If the treasure is truly there, will it ever be found? The Treasure of Lima remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Its allure transcends wealth. It is a challenge, a puzzle, and a testament to the enduring power of human imagination. Every new discovery, no matter how small, adds another thread to the tapestry of its legend. So, what makes this story so captivating? Perhaps it's not just the gold, the jewels, or the fortune itself. It's the journey. Every treasure hunter who has dared to search for the Treasure of Lima has become part of its tale, leaving behind stories of bravery, obsession, and discovery. To those listening now, I ask you, what would you do if you had the chance to join this epic quest? Would you brave the untamed jungles of the Cocos Islands, dive into the depths of the ocean, or decode the centuries-old mysteries hidden within dusty maps? Perhaps the treasure still waits, not for those with the best tools, but for those with the courage to dream. As we've journeyed through the legend of the Treasure of Lima, we've explored not just a hoard of wealth, but a legacy that spans generations. You've heard of daring betrayals, mysterious disappearances, and untold struggles, all for the chance to uncover history's most elusive prize. The question now is, where does this story go next? If you've enjoyed this incredible tale of ambition, mystery and adventure, be sure to like, share and subscribe to Storyteller Pro. Your support helps us bring you the most fascinating stories from the past. And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to uncover the next great mystery yourself. The Treasure of Lima may still lie hidden, waiting for the right moment and the right person to reveal its secrets. But remember, every legend has its own price. Would you risk it all to claim what so many others have sought and failed to find? Or does the real treasure lie in the quest itself? Conclusion: the Treasure of Lima, an enigma that has stood the test of time. From the gilded halls of colonial Lima to the untamed jungles of the Cocos Islands, it is woven a tapestry of mystery, greed and boundless ambition. Whether buried beneath the sands, hidden in the depths of the Pacific, or forever lost to the tides of history, its legend remains untouched, a symbol of humanity's unyielding thirst for discovery. This treasure, far more than gold or jewels, represents the ultimate challenge, a riddle that dares us to push the boundaries of imagination and endurance. For those who dream of uncovering it, it is not merely wealth, but a legacy, an invitation to be part of one of history's most thrilling adventures. Imagine being the one to finally solve the mystery. Wouldn't that be the ultimate prize? As we close this chapter on the Treasure of Lima, remember that true treasure may not lie beneath the sand or in the depths of the ocean. It may lie within the stories we share, the dreams we ignite, and the courage to venture into the unknown. That is the legacy of the Treasure of Lima, a story not just to hear, but to live. Here at Storyteller Pro, our journey doesn't end with this tale. The world is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered, stories that challenge the boundaries of fact and fiction, legends that inspire, thrill and provoke. And you, our listener, are part of this adventure. Don't let this be the last chapter. There's so much more to explore together. If you've been captivated by the legend of the Treasure of Lima, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Storyteller Pro. Save this video to revisit the mystery, or share it with friends who love a great story. Together, we'll uncover more tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Perhaps one day the sands of time will reveal the secrets of the Treasure of Lima. Until then, it remains an eternal mystery. A puzzle waiting to be solved, a story waiting to be told, a treasure waiting to be found. Who knows? The next chapter of this legend could be written by you. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Stay curious, stay daring, and stay with Storyteller Pro, where the greatest mysteries of the past become your next adventure. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and who knows what treasure you might find.